So, guys, it is 5 o'clock somewhere. It's actually 8 o'clock Central Time, which is where we are. And this is the Redox 5. Again, we're excusing both Dr. Osler and Dr. Maureen Hayes because, frankly, we don't need any more people on this call versus what we have right now. But I am kind of the Lone Ranger here. So I am feeling, I don't know, a little out of place because I've got all these beautiful ladies here on this call. So anyway, we want to go ahead and welcome our phenomenal nurses.
Yes.
My dad was a doctor. I never played one, but I know my father could not function at all without his head nurse. He was an oral surgeon, and she meant everything to him. And so with that, let's go ahead and go around start with Nelda. Yes. We're just going to do a real quick introduction, who you are, how long you've been nursing, if you have any other degrees or specialties you want to add in there like Amy did. And thank you for doing that, Amy. And then we're going to come back and share your story about, let's see, how you found all of that. And so, Nelda, you start, and then I'm not sure if everybody has the same rotation that I do. So, Nelda?
Okay, well, good evening, everyone. It's always a pleasure, and I'm always humbled to be on this Nurses Night here on Redox 5. Thank you guys, Ann and Jim, for doing this every week. So my name is Nelda Castillo. I'm from Lubbock, Texas. I've been a registered nurse for 28 years. My background extends across the nursing spectrum from med-surg, mom and baby, NICU, emergency room, hospice, and home health.
And where are you located, Nelda?
Lubbock, Texas.
Lubbock, you did say that. I'm sorry. Doria.
Yes, so thank you. It's such an honor to be on this Zoom tonight with all these amazing nurses. I'm just really excited about this, but I'm Doria Stewart. I'm a registered nurse. I live outside Atlanta, Georgia. I've been a nurse for 43 years. My background is medical surgical nursing, psychiatry, and also gastroenterology, and that's where I currently work right now. Thank you.
Wow.
You betcha. Cindy.
I want to thank you to Jim and Ann for inviting me for this. This is an honor to be on here, and I know all the nurses except for one, which I will get to know by the end of the night. So I am Cindy Reed, and I am here in Nashville, Tennessee. My path for nursing was a little bit different. So I've only been a nurse for 10 years. Prior to that, I was a medical technologist working in the hospital lab. My specialty at the moment, I'm a hospice nurse, and I've been, like I said, nursing for 10 years.
Cool. Okay, thank you, great. Cindy. Rosalie, where in the heck where are you from, Rosalie?
So I'm just north of London in the UK, and it's 2 a.m. here. So it's an early start for me today, but I'm a nurse from the UK. I'm a former nurse, rather. I don't actually work in a nursing capacity at the moment. I'm full-time in this. I'm so absorbed in this. My background is in medicine. I've worked in medicine most of the time. And since I've been working with the redox signaling molecules, I've got very interested in neurology, which I'll tell you a little bit more about perhaps later. But thank you for inviting me. I'm super excited. And in the company of such great experienced nurses, this is great. So thank you, Jim.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Super.
How long have you been doing nursing, Rosalie?
Oh, I was nursing for about 15 years.
Okay.
I was doing nursing, yes.
Okay, yes. Great. And then I'm sorry?
I've sort of moved along into more natural things.
Okay.
Outside of that. So, yeah.
That kind of fits our topic tonight, doesn't it?
You betcha.
Yeah, just a bit. Right.
Yeah, Miss Amy Stacy. You're muted.
Okay. Unmute.
She's going to have the excuse all night long of something called jet lag. So we're going to maybe give her a pass tonight for really not doing things. Have at it, Miss Amy.
Thank you, Jim and Ann. And it's always so much fun to do this. I think this is my 3rd or 4th year doing it. And I know you guys normally do it in the spring. And somebody just said they like my purple shirt. I said, I have jet lag. And according to me, it's blue, but that's okay. So anyway, hey, everybody. And thanks again, Jim and Ann. I just absolutely love the call. It's my favorite call of the week. So, I am from my hometown. I still live here, Charlottesville, Virginia. I've been a registered nurse 39 years, actually started my career at the NIH in oncology research.
Really?
And then I moved over to hospice and palliative care. So I've pretty much been doing that my whole career of 39 years. And that's about it. And I've been with the CF for 13.
Super.
I just added it up. We have 135 years of combined experience on this Zoom.
That's super.
So I'm going to highly recommend that everybody really pay attention. And what we're going to do first, real quick, is I'm going to have Doria kind of go ahead and do the disclaimer because we're going to hear quite a few testimonials tonight. So we want to make sure that we understand that we're not a drug. We don't diagnose, treat, or cure. So Doria, if you could go ahead and go a little bit more in detail about the disclaimer, please.
Sure. So what you're about to hear this evening from all these amazing nurses and their testimonies is not intended to cure, treat, or diagnose anything. We just say if you are on this product, it allows your body to heal. So there we go.
Cool. And then now what we're going to do is have Miss Nelda go ahead and Nelda, pretend you're talking to me. I'm not medical, and you met me either
grocery store.
Yeah, wherever we've met. But how would you explain simply, not medically, but how would you explain simply what these molecules are? What are we talking about tonight and why?
Okay.
You're muted.
Yeah, unmute, girl.
All
There you
right,
go.
thank you.
No
Okay.
worries.
You bet.
So if I'm just meeting you, basically that's going to be a challenge in itself already. But what I would say is
Be nice. Be nice.
we would be talking, and I just want to know more about your story. So I listened to your story, Jim, and somewhere in the story, you're going to say something about, I have this back discomfort. I've had it for years, da, 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 da. And so I just listened to your story. And I think that's really, really important. I love that. And when you say something like that, I'm listening and said, I hear you say that you had back discomfort. Have you ever heard, I've been a nurse for 28 years and I stumbled across something in May of 2018 that's helped me, Jim. It is, have you heard of redox signaling molecules? And you're like, what is that? Well, then I'd say, you know what, let me just show you. So I give you the Renew 28 experience and let you experience what these cells can do for you, because they're cell signaling. So once I give that person the experience, they're like, what did you just do? So that's how I but getting to know someone, speaking from the heart, letting them speak first, and they open up, because that's very, well, I would just say, when it comes from the heart, they know it. If you're hunting, they know it. So to me, I just say, have you heard of Redox? If you say no, then I give you the experience and say, what is this? How does that work? And I would just say, you apply it here. So apply a little gel and it's going to the central nervous system. And if you have any discomfort, Jim, like you said you did, I would apply it here first and then 3 times in 5 minutes wherever you have the discomfort, because these redox cell signaling molecules are tiny molecules, Jim. And because they are tiny and they're cell signaling, they can be absorbed into the cell. And once they're absorbed into the cell, they turn on and off switches in your body. In order of priority, it's going to go in the order of priority where your body needs it. And then it becomes like a cascade effect going in. And so this basically contributes to the overall health and wellness of your body, Jim. So right now we just applied the Renew 28. So where was your discomfort on a scale of 0 to 10? You tell me, and then where is it now? So that's kind of what I say.
Super. That's a good segue.
And now I'm going to have Amy or even Cindy, whoever. You're talking to a counterpart. You're talking to a peer. Amy, how would you explain this to a peer, if maybe not just the exact same thing that Nelda did, but would you go into any more detail?
With a medical expert friend.
Well, it's funny because when I speak to colleagues, registered nurses, doctors, I kind of share my story and I say, you know what? And I ask them, I said, do you ever remember studying redox signaling molecules in chemistry? And they're like, no. And so I kind of give them a quick Cliff Notes version. And I say, look, I didn't either. And I kind of tell them my story, which is what led me to redox signaling. And then they're like, well, what do they do? And I said, well, everybody's born with them. And their function is, even though we don't feel it, their function is to be kind of like a little Pac-Man, where they go and they find bad cells in our body and we
Mhm.
don't even know those cells that they're finding. And they either repair those cells or replace them with a brand new cell. But as we get older, we produce less, and therefore we get sick and we age a little quicker. So this is a bioreplenishment. So that's
Very good.
that's
Cool.
no under 30-second version.
Yeah, or as we've heard it, a biohack. Sometimes Maureen says it that way. But let's segue to now that you described how you would intro Redox. How were you introduced the Redox? And each of you will do a round robin on your
And-
experience on how
and
you
I
got
just-
introduced.
Yeah, and I just want to reiterate, I assume we have a lot of people on the call,
Brand new.
no pressure, but pretend it's the first time that anybody has heard your story. Okay, don't, because I know all of y'all have been doing this for a while, and we go, man, they've heard my story. Pretend they haven't.
Right.
And again, share from the heart, as if you wouldn't anyway, Nelda. So please, thank you.
Okay, so I stumbled across redox signaling molecules in May of 2018. I met a new friend, and that's what this is about, meeting new friends. She was so awesome. So I was attracted to that. So I went back on my 2 days off in my nursing week. She wasn't there. She left a note on the door, and it said, "Sorry, I'll be out a few weeks." And she put her phone number, but she didn't put a date. So I reached out to her and I said, "Lynn, is this a good time?" And she said, "Yes." She said, "I'm being discharged from the hospital. I have excruciating discomfort. My body has shut down, and my sister is threatening to shut my business down." And so I just thought, you know what? And they told her there's nothing else we can do. So I just said, I know a physician, go see him. And I referred her out to him. So she went to see him. So the day that she went to see him, I called her and I said, because I knew she was going, I said, "Lynn, what did he say?" And she said, "He told me that my inflammatory markers were very elevated." She had a history of inflammation for years and years. She had a knee replacement, so that was inflammation on top of inflammation. So the physician said, "You have high inflammatory markers." And then I said, "What else did he say?" She said, "He told me to start taking something in a blue bottle." And I was like, "Spell it for me, spell it." And so she spelled it for me. And then we both started drinking it. So it was amazing. The best thing about that is that I was open-minded and we began to drink it. And so as soon as I enrolled as an associate, I really didn't know what that was. I just wanted energy and endurance because I was working 84 hours a week as a nurse. And I just, when you work that many hours, you're in la la land a lot of times. So that's really what I wanted. And I really thought that's part of the aging process, but I was so wrong. So she started taking it. I started taking it, and I did it for preventive measures, but we gained so much from it because she started getting her life back. And she would just get a little 2-ounce shot glass that we have with ASEA, and she would just down. She said, "This is all I do." And she just, at that time, she didn't just swish it in her mouth. She just drink it. And I thought, well, I can do that. So we both started drinking 2 ounces in the morning and 2 at night. And then I just started getting better. I started getting energy, endurance, mental focus, more flexibility, improved sleep. I mean, on and on. And then I saw her get her life back. So that's really what happened. And then I don't know if you want me to keep going, but that's what happened to me. And then what happened next was I attended a Lubbock meeting, and I sat there, and Leland Duck was our speaker that day. So I sat on the front row because I thought I need to know more. I had worked 84 hours a week. That Sunday afternoon at 3:00, I was at that meeting on the front row. I heard Leland Duck. So he had rode into Lubbock, Texas. And this is my story. When Leland Duck rode into Lubbock, Texas, that changed the trajectory of my ASEA business. It developed me so much. But here's what happened. I heard his testimony, and I mean, it rocked me to my core, because when you hear somebody's testimony and their body had shut down, and then it's like, what happened? Well, these molecules had gone in there and detected anything that was wrong with his cells that were damaged, and they started, restoring his cells, and get rid of the cells that were bad. If they couldn't restore it, they get rid of it and give him some brand new cells. So when I heard that, I thought, I need to know more. So he said, "I'll invite you over to Frisco to a meeting we're having." So I committed to attend. I attend the meeting, Jim. I get there and the doors are closed. And I love this story because this is exactly what happened. The doors are closed and everybody outside the room cannot wait to get in. And I'm thinking, what's going on? And in Lubbock, Texas, I love going to the annual after Christmas sale at Dillard's. And I mean, everybody wants to go in. There's so much excitement. That's the excitement we had in the room before the doors even opened. So when I get into the room, I hustle in, get to the front row. I'm sitting there. And oh my goodness, I watch all these great leaders or speakers, a lot of testimonials. And that's really what started convicting me. I hear the testimonials. I hear the life-changing, testimonies. And I'm like, wow, I didn't know that. I didn't hear all of these things in Lubbock, Texas. I heard a few, but that impacted my heart. It impacted me. I met a lot of great people, the leaders. I saw the vision of the monumental company, the phenomenal product they had. I really was just so busy with working 84 hours a week. But what happened is this magical. Met the great leaders, came back on the drive back to Lubbock. God convicted me and he said, why are you not sharing these molecules? Well, I was kind of busy and I was getting what I wanted, energy, endurance, mental focus. So get back to Lubbock. I was a D700, Director 700, get back to Lubbock. And I spoke to Leland and I said, Leland, we had a come to Jesus talk. We did. So I said, why am I stuck as Director 700? And he said, why don't we try using the tools? Let's use the tools. So we began to use the tools. So he just said, you know what? Just send a short video. We pique interest. And then I get on a call and we answer people's questions and then collect a decision. If they're ready to move forward, great. If they're not, we allow them to do what they need to do. If they want to do a little research on their own or need more information or already, we do that. So I started to do that. And guys, that's what I did. But Jim, this is what happened. 30 days afterwards, I achieved the bronze executive level because I shared with everybody. 30 days after that, the silver executive level. And 20 days after that is when I reached the gold executive level because it's attainable with this company. And that's what I love about it. It doesn't matter where you want to go. You can reach it and it's attainable. And that's what I love. We got great leaders and I saw that, but that's what has happened to me. And so, that's what I say. You have a
Love
dream.
it.
Thank you.
So exciting.
You're unstoppable.
Thank you.
Absolutely. All right. I want to go to Rosalie.
Oh, Rosalie, of course.
Rosalie, let's I really appreciate you doing this because you're really sacrificing to do this. So I want to really graciously thank you for doing this. I can't wait to hear your story. So,
I'm very honoured to be here, and I'm quite new to the redox signaling molecules. I've only been with this here just 2 years now. We just celebrated the 2nd year, but I came in with having sort of neurology sort of symptoms myself, a lot of brain fog, a lot of things not working right. I was struggling with the sat nav in the car, and computers are not my thing, and I still don't do great on computers, but I'm tons better now. My memory was like let me down a little bit and things like this. Unfortunately for me, I had a colleague that I knew called David, and he was using the products for his daughter. And so he said to me, you should take a look at this. But it led on to something different, very different. We got invited to have a brain map. And I was like, wow, yeah, I'm really interested. Let's have a look what's going on, in the head. So, and I was 59 and I thought, this is fine. I've got no aches or pains, don't take any medication, into more, like my aromatherapy and stuff like that. So I was quite confident, but my results didn't show that. They showed that I had, he asked me, this lovely doctor, Dr. Mark, that did this brain map for us, had I ever had a traumatic brain injury?
Oh.
And I said, well, yeah, I had a broken jaw, but that was 30 years ago. He said, that's what it'll be. And he described my speed of things in my brain, sort of in the terms of brain speed, which is extremely fast. That it was like when someone asked me a simple question, I was going in the room behind me and looking in the filing cabinet for the answer. And I was like horrified, And so, and I didn't do anything immediately, but then David reminded me and said, Dr. Mark did mention you should get on these molecules. He'd been consuming them himself for 8.5 years. And so I started, and honestly, it changed everything. I got back in the room. I've been even better with my speech. So people tell me that know me now. I work a lot more on the computers. I can do all these things. Driving, I drive a lot of miles to share these molecules, and I enjoy doing that up and down the country. And it's just took away this sort of worry that one could have about what's going on upstairs, and that's probably most of the population, really. So I was very lucky to have that opportunity to have a look. But taking these molecules has just given me a new sense of life. And so the mission for me is to pay it forward and just share with others so that, they can have my energy. They can have, all the good thoughts I get now and the memory. And I've got 6 grandchildren, 3 daughters. I'm a busy person. And everybody often says to me, I don't know how you do it. I don't know how you do it. But we know how we do it, because when you know these molecules, nothing's too big for these molecules. And I look forward to sharing some testimonials later. But, I was gifted to come along this path, and I never had heard anything about them. And so it's been an extraordinary couple of years. But the education I feel I've had now through this last 2 years, working with Dr. Mark, as we call him, is just every week he's educated us on something more because of his enjoyment of learning. And it's so refreshing to find a doctor that says, why don't I know about these, and gets stuck in and then turns around and shares it with us. So yeah, there's some mighty things, isn't there, about redox signaling molecules that people will only find out when they start consuming them. So I hope everybody that's listening to the call tonight will go and find someone to help them get some, because it's an extraordinary life when you know what the redox molecules are about.
That's super.
Wow, thank you, Rosalie.
That's great.
Miss Cindy Reed.
Okay, I'm going to go back a little bit. So before I was introduced to these molecules, I was already on a journey looking for something more holistic or natural. I had to go to the third provider to get the right results of what was going on with me. I was struggling with fatigue, dry skin, hair loss, some challenges with my immune system, so to speak. So you have to be your own advocate. Went to the first doctor. He ran 1 lab test, which was normal. And I didn't feel like that was right. So I actually ended up going to a functional medicine practitioner to get the right results. So with that was in 2015. So in 2019, someone was on LinkedIn and they posted this little teaser of a video. And I thought, that sounds interesting. So I reached out to her to see what she was talking about. And we had a phone call. She gave me the information, the videos to watch about redox. And this was right up my alley. This was what I wanted. No side effects, no toxicity. So I started taking the molecules. And like a lot of people, within the first couple of weeks, I noticed better sleep and better energy. And over time, I was able to come off of all my medications related to the issues I was struggling with. So now, I mean, the energy I have, and it's funny, I laugh at my kids because they're always taking naps sometimes when I go visit or when they come here. And I'm thinking, I'm out working you, and I'm out, I will stay up till 11 o'clock sometimes and get up at 5 in the morning to go to work. So that's an immediate win. And a lot of people notice that. So with that, and you were talking about medical professionals, when I talk with people like that, I feel like that's more of a struggle because they feel like if they've not heard about it, it can't be legit. So, you just have to, and then they go do their research, of course, on Google usually. And so I talk with people about their medications, and I've heard so many stories. I actually, like I said, I'm a hospice nurse. So I had a conversation with a family member or a patient's family member, and she found a medication that her mom was on, and she didn't know about all the side effects that she started having. And then she actually found out it was for a condition that her mom didn't even have. So she didn't get the education, which is huge. And so I just want people to do the research on the things the doctor gives them as well, but really look into this And it's such a passion to share, like Joy and I have talked about. With this, we can help more people than we can in the field of nursing because we can touch anybody, like a lot of people say, within 3 feet because you don't have had a doctor's order to do this. So I will always share it and just trying to grow my business while I'm still working. Oh, I've been on it. So 4.5 years I've been on the product and will continue to be on it.
Thank you, Cindy. Miss Doria, please. Yeah, make sure you unmute yourself. Thank you.
Okay, so thank you. So this was introduced to me by a very dear friend who's a dentist. And he knew that I was open to other forms of modalities of healing, like chiropractor care and oils and massage therapy. And he said, hey, this might be something you might want to do when you retire. I'm 67, so I thought, well, and I started on Redox about 4.5 years ago. But what really caught my attention was not really the science, but the undeniable testimonies. I was invited to a gathering, kind of like a workshop. And when I heard the testimonies, I'm thinking like, okay, this doesn't usually happen. These are not the outcomes I normally see in the hospital setting. And so there's something to this. So I went home and I did my due diligence and I went to PubMed and then I went, looked at some other videos and I'm thinking, okay, this is really what I liked about it is non-toxic. It works at the cellular level. So, I thought, well, let's go ahead and get on this. But I really didn't see it for myself because I don't deal with any health challenges, nor do I take any medications. But my parents both died from inflammation related to their heart, and then also my mother with bad cells. So I just thought, well, this might be something I can take to. So like Nelda was sharing about what Redox is, it keeps you well and right. Resilient to stress. So right. I thought, well, I'll go ahead and get on it. Well, I think I would, the nature of the beast, being a nurse for as long as I have, working 12-hour shifts, 3 12s a week, you just kind of think, well, this is all about aging. This is the wear and tear on your body. You're just things that you deal with as far as joint discomfort, feet hurting. It would take me a day to recover after working a 2 12-hour shift. So I got on the product. I drank 8 ounces. I started out 2 ounces twice a day, and now I'm up to 8 ounces a day. But I slept for the first time in 35 years through the night. And I continue to do that now. It doesn't matter what time I put my head to the pillow, I'm asleep and then I wake up refreshed and, just feel ready to go. And on all my discomfort, I thought, well, gosh, I didn't think I was feeling bad before, but now I feel great because now I'm able to withstand working those long shifts and I don't have to rest up. And I just, felt really good. So the discomfort left. I would say it took about 30 to 60 days for the discomfort to leave in all my joints and in my back. And the other things I've noticed, I think over the years, you think, okay, well, wait a minute, I'm not dealing with my sinus issues anymore. Or like in Georgia, we have high pollen counts. It's like, okay, I'm not sneezing out here, and nor am I getting stopped up or everybody else's nose are running, and that's not happening to me anymore. But and then I had sort of like debilitating discomfort in my head. I'd have to get in a dark room and and take medication for that, and I haven't dealt with that either. So I think like what we hear on tonight, these testimonies, you hear a lot of people that had these health challenges, and now now they're resilient to that stress. But I was the type of person, I didn't think anything was wrong with me. And oftentimes we meet people like that, they'll say, oh, I don't take any medications, I don't have any health challenges. But what they don't realize is that you can have something brewing at the cellular level, and it takes 7 years for that to show symptomology. So, I'd much rather not know what I'm not going to say prevent, but I would rather not know what was laying there at the cellular level. So I'm very passionate about sharing this. I'm probably more passionate about sharing this technology than all my years of working as a nurse for 43 years. And I will be on it the rest of my life. It's a mission for me to share it with as many people as I possibly can.
Yeah, that's super. Wow. And the proactive approach, I mean, that is the way people should look at health, is start doing it early so you don't wait till something shows up. You don't wait till the comparison to your parents when they got such and such, do it when you are feeling good. So that's super. Thank you.
All righty,
Sharon,
Miss Amy Stacy, share your journey, please.
All right. So, great job, ladies. I love hearing
Yes.
stories. I could
Yeah.
hear stories all day. So yeah, so I learned about ASEA in 2011. And in 2011, I went to the doctor and had some burning that required some antacids to get it to feel better. I just thought it was the general run of the mill, issue like that you could just take a Tums and be done with it, but that wasn't the case. So I went to the doctor and they decided to, look at some tissue under a microscope and all that good stuff, and found that it wasn't very good tissue.
Mhm.
And it was a pretty scary thing for a hospice nurse to hear, you can imagine. So anyway, I am a firm believer. I'm very spiritual. I'm a firm believer that the divine universe comes when you need to hear the signs. And I listen to signs every day. And I always tell people to do that because, it's really important. So the sign was Dr. David Silverman, who I've known since the mid 90s from another network marketing company, called me out of the blue and called to tell me about Redox, but I didn't know why he was calling me. I just said, why are you calling me? I haven't heard from you in 10 years. What are you selling me? I know you're prospecting me, and whatever it is that you're trying to sell me, I'm not interested. That's pretty much what I said. And a lot of people know that story. And looking back, I'm glad that he didn't take no for an answer. But so he went on to tell me that he had just learned about this technology and that he gave the story of his dad and how well his dad responded to it. And when he said that, I said, now you got my attention, David. This is what I just found out 2 days ago. I'm scared. Will it help with that? And he said, I don't know. He said, but I do know that it can't hurt. And I said, okay, fair enough. I'll go ahead and sign up as an associate, but I'm not going to do the business. So I went ahead, signed up, started drinking the product. I worked myself up to about 16 ounces a day and had a little bit of detox going on there back then in the old days when we got on that early in the business. We called it the healing crisis. Today
Mhm.
we call it detox. So anyway, so I got through that. Fast forward to six months later, when I found out I had a repeat endoscopy, I found out that I was in the all clear. It was the best news I ever heard.
Awesome.
And yeah, so I came home and immediately made a list of people, and I signed up 40 people in 30 days.
Way to
And
go.
nobody was going to tell me no. Nobody. And people could hear my conviction. I just found out that I was going to live. And, I was super duper excited about that. So that's kind of how I got into it. And needless to say, I did fall into the business, obviously. But another testimonial that a lot of people like to hear too, in 2004, well, in 2003, my father died of bad cells in his thyroid. And that was 10 months before, 10 months before I found out I had those same bad cells on my thyroid. And so they did surgery and they took 60% of my thyroid and put me on a medication for hormone replacement. And so I was on that for years and years and years. And in 2015, I went to my doctor and I told him, I said, I'd really like to get off the Synthroid. I'm taking this cell signaling supplement. I feel fine. I'm not lethargic, no signs of low thyroid. And so he said, okay, to be fair, let's do some blood work. And I said, let's do it. So we did blood work and he called me back and he said, this is absolutely amazing. And I said, what do you mean? And he said, your thyroid is 100% functioning and you don't need sense. So I was very, very happy, or, the medication. I was very happy to hear that. So fast forward to 2015, I was able to quit my job and do a CF full time, and I am now a triple diamond in the company.
Way to go. And didn't you just get back from a fly-in to Utah?
I did. Can't you see the bags under my eyes? So I have an excuse for like having brain farts tonight. So anyway, it was absolutely wonderful. Anybody ever
bet.
gets the chance to go to corporate and tour the production facility and just get treated like gold, I highly recommend it. And the mountains, oh my goodness, the mountains were just absolutely splendid. I think every picture we took had the mountains in it.
That's super. That's our second favorite state since our granddaughter and daughter are there. Well, I wanted to real quick, being that she just got back from corporate, doesn't that just really sink in and ground your belief on the ethos, just the backing of the company, the support? I mean, when you go there, you realize the heart of everybody that's on corporate staff. And of course, we love the Nortons and what they did. So
absolutely. I mean, I know a lot of people there, but I tell you what, one of the highlights of my trip was, believe it or not, was meeting my diamond support rep. Because, when you're diamond and above, you have your own personal representative. You don't have to go through associate support. So the very first thing I did when I got to Sandy, I was like, oh my God, I got to meet Sandy. And she came out and she hugged me. She didn't want to let me go because we've kind of gotten to know each other and,
yeah,
and stuff. But so that was really, really fun. But yeah, just the ethos and just everything about this company is so from the heart, but very seriously business focused. And what I also really like about the company is they're always looking towards the future of us and the future of the company. And big things are going to start happening in the years to come. And I'm just thrilled to be a part of it.
Yeah, that's super. When we went mid-February, the tour, I mean, Jim stopped Dr. Andrea and we learned more from her. And then the tour, we met a few new people, learned a few things on the packaging and we hadn't toured in a while. So it was pretty cool.
Okay, I want to get back to some of you guys all have amazing stories. A lot of people are watching this and listening to this. And if you're brand new watching this for the first time, I'll be honest with you, I saw dietary supplement and I saw made from salt water. But I saw my best friend's son get significantly better. Ladies, maybe go in order. What if you don't have a story? How do you convince someone to stay on this? Because some people don't have a health issue. They don't think, not yet. I call them until people. They don't need anything until they do. But Rosalie, how do you share this with people? Because everybody needs it. It's not like just don't wait. So as a nurse, you guys are typically the ones that are doing the majority of the care for people. So does it make sense what I'm trying to get?
Yeah.
I mean, it's the story, it's the science, it's testimonials, and Doria, you kind of said it. It's the stories. I think all of you have said that. But what if you haven't had one? Rosalie, you're muted.
Everybody needs to realize that there's always a little bit better version of you. And so when we're consuming these molecules, what we're actually doing is encouraging the cells to turn over at a better rate. Different cells in the body turn over at a different rate, to become new cells. And if you're doing some photocopying, for example, and you've got a bad copy to start with, you're only copying those copies. So what this cellular supplement is doing is giving each cell the chance to get a little bit better version of yourself. And ultimately, that comes in time to you becoming a younger version of yourself, really. So I realized with this quite soon on that there is nothing too big for these molecules and nothing too small. They say we're wonderfully and fearfully made. And as a nurse, you tend to really understand a little bit more of that by going into the body and know a little bit about the anatomy and physiology. But, it's about people starting to recognize how they're feeling, really. And when they get a symptoms to me are just cries for help from the body itself talking to us, but are we always listening? And very often we're not. So where pain arrives, I think it's something like, this is not a scientific quote, but 75% of the body's ability has been utilized to stop you having a knock on the door about something that's aching or that you've got some discomfort. It's saying to you, don't carry on doing this because we're not going to be able to keep going, So these molecules come in, we swish and swallow them. They're so simple to handle and take, and there's just not very many things to consider with them. And off they go in the body, in the dark, to where they're needed, orchestrated by the brain. And that's all you need to do. Pick a glass up, put them inside, and just let them go and find where your needs are most. And they'll do that in a methodical way, in the most important way that is native to the body, And like you nurses have said, our colleagues here, it's non-toxic. There's nothing to worry about, You can never have too much of this stuff. You can only have too little. So that makes it so available to everyone, whether we're talking, younger people and children. I feel my role is as a mum and a gran and an educator is to help mums understand that this is a great starting point. And if you can educate the parents, then they have the confidence to use it for the smaller ones. So my grandchildren, from newborn all the way through, by choice, because of my education, I use these redox molecules for everything. We are very supportive of each other, and we don't really have to go down other routes, not even maybe walk through a pharmacy door, because we have it all. Everything's a cell. And if you keep those cells replenished, you keep the potential of the cells as best they can be, then the body can be your best defense mechanism because it knows what to do with these molecules. It doesn't need a manual to put things right. It just needs more of them and consistently. And so anyone I come across and speak to, I just give them the chance to tell me what it is that's, concerning them. And as I listen to their story, and sometimes many titles come out in that and many things that they say, but it's such a nice feeling to know that you can come back with an answer to help them and then take them through the steps of how to get started with it and follow up with them. And then they pass it on. And that also becomes a cascading effect, just as the molecules work in the body. So it's so nice to think that anybody's problems and issues can have great impact by just consuming these molecules. And it's all of our roles, isn't it, just to keep on one at a time, but the next person, the next person, the next family, and so on. And that's what I've done. And I've struggled in life a long time since I had this. I became a single mum. I spent many years just having far too much money left at the end of the money. And then I come along here, and this isn't a company that's about transactions, it's about transformations.
Yes.
And to have a part in those transformations is really empowering. And as a nurse, that's what you're looking to do all the time. So I find I have that 24/7, not just on a shift and off a shift. It's the reason I don't go back into that environment, because I've got a team around the world now, and it's just growing and growing organically in a nice way, and just reaching out to others. And like you follow and work with nutrition and things like that, I think that's the next big thing for me to be able to educate a lot of people for and serve myself first. But those two things together, then there's longevity and there's good health for us all. So I just get super excited about it. And I am going over to the American conference actually in September on the tour.
Awesome.
So I'm looking forward to
we'll get to meet you there. And don't you think that when people if they don't have their own story to start, maybe they just started today or a month from now, they can always share
Borrow one.
someone else's story, Leland's
Yes,
story, or someone else
borrow
that
the
like
story.
Jim.
We have
That's right.
we have so much information, so many testimonials, whether they're in person or whether they're, you know, on our facilities that we are furnished with the company. Just borrow one that
That's
resonates,
right.
and
Exactly.
that's what we need to do. But I too have fantastic uplines that have really helped and supported me, and that's another part of why this has been different for me in this role, is the absolute support that you get as a person, sort of doing this redox education. And it doesn't get better than that for me right now. So I'm really super
Beautiful.
excited. Looking
Beautiful.
forward
That's
to it.
great.
We've got like 12 minutes, and this time I knew this was going to fly by. Someone brought up the ripple effect and paying it forward. Nurses take care of people, but you could only take care of so many people at one time. Can each of you, in a couple of minutes, talk about your ripple effect?
Well, I think these two
Nailed it.
ladies do the nurse talk, so they've got an immediate.
Yeah, but how does it make you
ripple.
feel that because of your compassion and that you're sharing, you're really truly, because everyone knows that about nurses. You guys more than, not that doctors don't care, but they kind of, doctors walk in and stir everything up, and you guys go in there and bring calm to the storm. And that's why my mother was a nurse. My brother's a nurse. My sister's a nurse. So that's kind of in the family. But how does it make each of you feel because of your ripple effect that you're able to have this be paying forward to currently 33 countries? I think we have 4.3 billion people that are in our markets, but yet it's so few that we've reached out to. That's kind of why we do the show. So, Doria, how does that, Nelda, how does that make you feel, your ripple effect and altering the world and making this a business as well?
Well, I would
Yeah.
say that to me, at first I didn't have a testimony, but when I share with my brother, I used to use his testimony because it changed him and it gave him, you know, he was 80 years old and he said, Nelda, you're trying to revive a dead man. And so to me, when I saw what it did for him, it was so amazing. So that's kind of where it started. Then I used his testimony. And then when you share the gel, the Redox gel, then you see what happens. So you're convicted. But the people like my team, my neighbor who I shared it with, I saw that she changed immediately, like within a few seconds of putting on the gel. It changed her discomfort. And then from there, they shared with others. And then I have another associate downline that she was in bed. She could not get out of bed. And she wanted to do things, but she couldn't. So if I hadn't touched the lives of other people, their lives wouldn't have been touched. So that's the ripple effect to me. And it's amazing because you don't really realize what you're doing. But here's what I really see, Jim, that is so important. There's a lot of people on the call that have never heard of redox signaling molecules. And most people they'll say, I'm okay. And they say no, but guess what? You don't realize it may not be for you and you may say no, but when they say no, they have no idea that they could impact so many more lives. And that's what that really hurts my heart because maybe your advocate said no, but it could have helped you, Cindy, or Amy, or, Doria. That's what I see. So to me, be open-minded and just say, let me see what it can do for me. And if I'm closed-minded, allow my family member to use it and don't, say no to something you don't know what you're saying no to.
Yeah.
But the ripple effect is unbelievable. I mean, globally, we've changed lives in so many areas. So yes, I would say the ripple effect does make a difference.
Thanks, Nelda. Doria?
Super.
Yes, so we have a gift to share. This is a gift of hope, and it's just touching one person at a time. I went to a network marketing meeting last night with a bunch of women, and 4 people were already on the product. But when I shared, what redox signaling molecules was in 3 minutes afterwards, several people came up because they heard the testimonies of these 4 people that had already been on the product. and they wanted, they had to know about what this could do for them. But I also wanted to share, you were talking about how do we share this with people? Do we live in a toxic world? So, this is the missing link. So you can have good nutrition, hydration, exercise, and rest. But, this is what people need to allows, for the molecules to allow these other things to work more efficiently in their body.
Thank you,
Wonderful.
Doria. Cindy?
Cindy.
Okay. It's just like Doria's talking about, it's a mission and just being able to share. But the cool thing is we don't, well, cool, and you do worry about it, but you don't know who you're touching. You don't know to what extent this is helping someone, and you will never know the full extent because it goes layer and layer and layer down. But just know that you're helping people, and that's our goal, and that's our passion, is to share these molecules. And I like, when I'm talking with someone, I like to use the analogy about, say you're anemic. So you go to the hospital, you get a pint of blood put back into your body. Well, it's the same with these molecules. We're low, we're losing them every year after puberty. Right. Based on age and health challenges that we're having. So why would you not go put these back into your body? Especially, it's just like blood. It's innate to your body. It's non-toxic. There's no side effects. So you're just giving your body back what it needs to help, the way God designed our bodies, to help take care of issues that we come across each day. And to have something like this with no toxicity that cannot compare to the things that pharmaceuticals are doing to our body is just awesome. And to know that there's 7 patents and over 1,000 trade secrets, nobody else will have this for a while. And it's just amazing to be able to do this and to share this. And that's my passion, and that's what I want to do and share. And even with penicillin, when that came out, that was not really recognized or accepted for 10 or 12 years. And look where it is today. So don't dismiss something. Do your research, but do it the right way, not on Google. Go to Google Scholar or PubMed, but do your research for you and for people that you love, and really check into this. It can't hurt you, so why would you not try it? And the thing we want to do is increase not just our lifespan, but our health span. And that's the length of time in your life that you're healthy. So
yeah, that's super.
Thanks.
I was going to say, with Amy, as you're about to answer, it was neat that you mentioned you were at the NIH. And if you look on the NIH today, you'd be shocked how many thousands of articles and abstracts there are about redox signaling molecules. So why don't you share, as we're ending, the ripple effect, as Jim asked about?
Well, my ripple effect story is probably a very unique one. And when I was one of the very first people in the company, and so I am responsible for bringing it to Charlottesville, Virginia.
Love it.
I was the first person. So every single person in Charlottesville, including the beloved Dr. Carolyn Hoffman, who we all know and love, is in my downline.
That's wonderful.
Okay, everybody in Charlottesville. So when I meet somebody and they say I'm in Charlottesville, I'm like, well, who's your sponsor? And I'm like, well, okay, you're in my downline. But here's the really cool part of my story, guys. So in 2014 or 15, I had to take a back seat for 3 years. I called Dr. Silverman. I said, I am not going to be working for 3 years. I have an emergency. I don't know how long I'm going to be gone. And at that point, guys, we were only in the United States and Mexico and Canada. That was it. Okay, so 2018, I get back in the game. And at that point, I think I was platinum, and all that happened when I was gone. I still got paid every Friday. But the cool thing is when I came back, we were in Singapore, we were in Malaysia, and now I have diamonds in Singapore that are in my group that all came on while I was gone. So you speak about the ripple effect. I touched 40 people's lives as soon as I came into this company, and those 40 people traveled to 33 countries.
That's super.
And that's
How
really
exciting.
good.
Can I just add, I don't know my colleagues here very well yet, but I certainly didn't get trained on redox signaling molecules as a nurse. I don't know whether any of you did. And I'm not sure what they do today, but some people say to me, well, it's easier for you because you've got a nursing background. I've been educated like I've been to university since I've been with the company. It's not that. So it is about taking a little bit more notice. In the UK, people think they want to come to the UK for free healthcare, but our healthcare system at the minute is overwhelmed. And so people have got to start looking inwardly and start helping themselves. And, if we're an example of that tonight, if you've heard anything tonight, just go and seek some more information, because it's out there. And I was working with a little baby recently. The mum's very well educated, and her specialist nurse wanted to talk to me. And I'm thinking, gosh, so I asked her straight away in a polite way, do you know anything about redox signaling molecules, so that I could get a bearing of where we needed to start the conversation. She hadn't heard of them. So it's not about that. It's about just finding some way to get educated and just get involved with this. And age has no barrier. I was 59 when I got involved in this, and I'm looking forward to many, many, many more years of health thanks to these molecules. So don't let anything be a barrier, but just come and find some information out first. And there's always someone around that will help you. So thank you. I just thought it would be nice for people to realise that, doctors don't know about it, or they've heard of it, but they haven't actually followed through with it. So just don't give up. Just keep going, and you'll find the molecules will help you some way. You can't consume these molecules and not have a response.
That's right.
That's right. That response is the difference, isn't it? So
okay, I want to give each of you 30 seconds to share your heart. Why should people be doing this? Who should be looking at this? Whatever you want to say, 30 seconds. We're going to go a little bit long. What do you want people to really know right now? Nelda?
I would say you have nothing to lose, everything to gain. And it is not if something will change in your body, it's when. So why not do something about it today? Because I think it's imperative that we do something, because there's so many toxins that surround us. And to me, had I not done anything, I wouldn't be as vibrant as I am today. I wouldn't have been able to help my family. But these molecules work. And to me, I would say they work. So don't doubt anything. I would just say jump right in, try them. Like I said, you have nothing to lose and everything to gain. And the ripple effect can be fabulous. But to me, I would not be where I am today had I not been open-minded. So if you're not open-minded, I would say be open-minded. Be open-minded, do your due diligence, and be an advocate for better health, not just for you, but for your family, for your loved ones, and your community. You owe it to people. We owe it as nurses and as just humans to help others. And this is one way to make a change. We are nurses. We change lives every day. And I've never seen any product like this. Nobody else has redox signaling molecules. What are you waiting for?
Beautiful.
That's right. Doria.
This is real. We're not on trial. And I'm going to take Dr. Lee Osler's quote. It never not works. It's impossible for it not to work. So try it.
It's physiology, so we know it got to work.
Cindy.
Mine's pretty short. What if? What if this were the miracle you were looking for? And if you're having health challenges now, where will you be in 10 years if you don't do this?
Whoa. Rosalie.
Absolutely echo that, Cindy. Yes, just you've got everything to gain. You've got nothing to lose. And someone somewhere needs to know about these molecules. And even if you're not consuming them yourself, and you've heard some stories tonight, borrow these stories and share them. Find where this recording is and take it to someone, and just, whatever you can do. The empowerment of helping someone is beyond money. It's beyond feelings that you could explain and put into words. And it doesn't matter who you are, where you are, just say, I've heard of something, here's a way of finding out. Just go and just do it. When that little voice in your head tells you to talk to that person, or someone comes into your mind, that's your body telling you you need to go and find that person. It's there for a reason. We don't hear these things sometimes. We only hear them when we're trying to stop going in the fridge for some more food or something. But, you know, someone drops in my mind, I think that's a sign I need to get in touch with them. So just act on your instinct and just keep giving to the world, because everybody out there needs what we have. So thank you.
That's right.
Wrap it up, Miss
Amy.
Amy. Wrap it
You
up.
know, it's the world's best kept secret.
I love it.
Okay. And I have never been very good at keeping secrets. So that's my answer.
Jim, I'd
You
like
know,
to say one thing. Jim, I'd like to say one
Yeah.
thing. Live without regrets. It's scientifically
Beautiful.
impossible for it not to work.
This hour goes by so quick,
Yeah.
and we didn't even get to share the other things that I'm sure all of you have stories about.
Well, we're going to do this
Self-performance,
probably,
nutrition.
ladies, on a quarterly basis. Yeah, I do want to bring up that Dr. Carmen Keith on a show that we heard a while back, and she's a triple boarded doctor from Harvard, and she flat out said, if you don't share this, you're selfish. The world deserves to hear about this. And now I know why women do so phenomenal in this industry. You don't have to have a medical degree to share this. You have to have a heart. You have to truly care about people. The people that we've seen impacted, what we've seen, and hearing your stories. And I wrote down 25 things that between the five of you, 25 different things that were affected by one breakthrough. And whoever was it, Doria or Cindy, that what if?
Yes,
And that's
Cindy.
my favorite question to ask. What if? I know it sounds crazy. Salt water from Salt Lake City, you know, tastes like pool water. By the way, it should always taste just like water. Someone answered, one of the ladies that said it tastes yucky. You need it more, because it should always just taste like water. But this is a divine gift.
Yeah.
We've been handed something that everyone deserves to hear about.
And that person would, taste yucky. Again, your body's not in balance. So if you take enough of it long enough, get through that, as Amy called it, the detox or the rebalancing, whatever you want to call it, the crisis, get through that hurdle of it doesn't taste so great. Use our pouches, rub Renew 28. After a few weeks, it should get closer and closer to tasting regular. And you'll realize that, oh, wow, it was it's clearly going after something that's challenged, or it would not taste bad.
And my mother, the nurse, when we were kids, made me drink things a whole lot worse than that. And those things always tasted bad. And what we have will eventually taste just like water. So, ladies, I just want to say thank you. It's an honor to have you. You guys are paying it forward.
Yep.
You're part of the mission. You're part of the journey. You're part of a beautiful Burtis Norton legacy. And we're helping do that. So, guys, thank you, ladies. I mean, thank you. Next week, we've got Dr. Richard Michael. He is phenomenal. He's crazy. He's amazing. He's wonderful, beautiful stories. So, guys, get more people on the show. Everyone deserves to hear about this. We have a gift. We need to share it. And do not go to Google or Amazon. Do your research correctly. Multiple people made mention of that. You can go to discoverredox.com. This recording will be up as soon as Dr. Osler gets back. It will be up at redoxmatters.com. And all these ladies will have a copy of the video that I make here pretty shortly. So, ladies, thank you from the bottom of our heart. Bless you. And guys, thank you so much. And we will be back next Friday. Dr. Osler, Dr. Maureen, and again, Dr. Rich Michael. So God bless. Thank you.
We love y'all.
Love y'all.
Bye, everybody.
Find the replay
Bye.
at Facebook.
Bye.
Buddies.
Thank you. Thank you, Jim.